or something. I am live at Jack London State Historic Park, which some Percy Jackson fans will know why I'm here. I'm headed to the Wolf House, as a matter of fact, and I'm not wearing my Camp Half-Blood because some of you know why. You might want to be wearing purple in this woods. I am not team purple, if you get what I mean. So I'm going to try and keep things fairly vague for non-book fans, but I wanted to share my initial thoughts about Percy Jackson, and I am walking to the Wolf House, as I said. So I'll give you a little tour when we get there. Apologies in advance, the internet's not the best here if I go in and out. All right, Percy Jackson on Disney Plus, first couple of episodes just dropped. First of all, oh, hello for Canada. Hi from the US, California. I did not expect them to drop so early, so I was all set. I was gonna get my blue food. I had the time set aside, and then Disney Plus, a day early. So instead, I stayed up a little bit too late to watch them, but it was worth it. I'm gonna start with the things I really liked. I loved Dionysus. Absolute perfection. I have gone back and rewatched his scenes an embarrassing number of times. He's so good. I was worried that they would turn him into kind of a villainous figure because it's easy to do. And I personally do work with Dionysus, so I was like, please get this right. They did. Camp Half-Blood. The design is gorgeous. My only quibble, where was Hestia? I have now rewatched it 3 times. I have paused every screen where there is a fire. I could not find Hestia. Did anyone else spot her? Because I sure didn't. What I did find, though, is our cabin, Hephaestus. It is awesome. We have a balcony. I don't think the others have balconies. We have like this round hobbit door with curtains so that you can just walk through into the forge. Awesome. And the stonework up to like the blue is gorgeous. I may have watched it frame by frame just to analyze our cabin. The only downside there is I think we're kind of near Hermes, which could mean it gets loud. Then again, we are the ones hammering, so maybe we shouldn't be complaining about loud sounds. I'll be honest. I really want to see the Demeter cabin. I don't think they've really showed that yet. Excited for that. I really like that the cabins are in the woods. I just want to go stay at Camp Half-Blood. That's what this series makes me want to do. So good job, designers. Annabeth. Oh, she's so good. You can tell how intelligent she is. The other characters are talking about her like, she is the best warrior. She's the smartest. She thinks 7 steps ahead of everyone else. And you can see it. That look of just right before she pushed Percy into the lake was great. So she's really capturing that. I would say Luke is also a surprise favorite. I wasn't expecting them to be doing Luke this well, this early. So I'm really excited to find out how they're gonna handle certain things in the future. Oh, great actor there. Clarice, though. Love her. So she's my favorite character in the books. And again, I was worried that they would get her wrong and just be like, she's just a bully. No, you can kind of see already a little bit about why she's doing what she's doing. And the line delivery of like, well, I guess I'll lose my dessert privileges. Oh, her. When a new adaptation comes out, the height of knowing they've gotten a character right is that when I go back and I reread a scene, I see the actor, not my own version. I see the Clarice from this show now when I read scenes about Clarice. Yeah. And Dionysus, actually. Love this Dionysus. All right, some downsides. They're very minor, in my opinion. Yeah, they changed a lot of things, but I feel like Rick was okay with it because I think he even cameoed in one of the scenes they changed. And most of it was for timing to kind of speed the story up a little bit and get us out of Yancey Academy faster, which it makes sense. So I'm not too upset. It's nice to have a couple of surprises in there and they didn't deviate. Thank you for saying you love the thumbnail. I'm here at Jack London State Historic Park and we're here for Percy Jackson reasons. As I'm gonna show you soon, we're about halfway to the Wolf House right now. We're at the creek, yes. All right, so my objections are mostly minor. It's the pacing for me. It's a little too fast. I was hoping for the TV show we could kind of slow down, take things a little bit slower and really enjoy and savor them like a really good wine, to go back to the Dionysus theme. Instead, we're just like, we got a Cabernet from California. Next. You know, it's like, slow down. And then another totally minor thing, there are no ads. It's Disney Plus. Like, why the fade outs? So on my third watch through of the first 2 episodes, I realized I think it's meant to show the passage of time. And the problem is what it reads like as an audience member, especially the first time, is, did you forget there are no ad breaks? Like, you don't have to keep fading out. Just cut to the next scene. But it's a tiny editing thing. They'll probably fix it in season 2. If we get a season 2, it's fine. And once you know it's there, you just kind of deal with it. Let's see, anything else? Some of the little tiny moments they kept in, like Annabeth going, "You drill when you sleep." I was really hoping they would put that in. I kind of screamed so loud I might have woken a few neighbors when that happened. But then we lost other scenes, like we lost the ambrosia. And I know a lot of fans have been like, I wanted the blue cookies ambrosia scene. We might get an equivalent at some point, but they gotta cut some things, I get it. In the grand scheme, again, very minor. Overall, I really like what they're doing so far, other than the pacing. Slow it down. They have such a brilliant cast. Sally Jackson. I mean, does anyone not have a crush on Sally Jackson? Raise your hand, because I don't think it's anyone. And she's so amazing in this. When she was battling the Minotaur, I was just like, I kind of wonder again, though, about non-book fans during that scene, thinking she probably actually died at first. I will say this, Percy Jackson, way better reaction than the movies when she died. He was gutted in this version, like, lost it. That scene out in the woods that was added with him burning the blue food crushed me. I was crying. So little moments like that they add in, I don't mind, because they're in character. However, we are getting close to the Wolf House. So I'm gonna go ahead and switch the screen. So the part we're looking at right now, for book fans, is where a certain vehicle landed in the snow. You either know what I'm talking about or you don't. But this is a location from the Percy Jackson books. We have not gotten to it. Probably won't for a long time. But I really hope that this series does get enough attention that eventually we will get to this part of the story. Because my absolute favorite of the series so far, other than the Nico book, can't wait for Nico, is this whole sequence at the Wolf House and up in Canada. I think there was a Canadian watching earlier. Love that part of the books. So let me know what your thoughts are of the series so far, as we're almost there. As I said, it took me a couple of viewings to kind of get into the groove of the editing style they were using, which to me was a little bit too frantic. I prefer like the Wednesday pacing, a little bit slower. But then I think people were complaining about Wednesday being a little bit too slow, so maybe that's why. Yes, you switch it around, and it looks like the magic is present, so the internet's gonna go in and out a lot. I apologize. It's just too much magic around here. It's interfering because we are about to head to a demigod's house. And of course, this is where we got that scene with Talia and the group that she was with that I won't spoil for you. Although, is Talia a spoiler? I don't know. It's hard to tell because the books have been out for so long. It's like, how much do you tell or not tell? You know what? For all you know, Talia is a different character than the Talia that was mentioned. But I love that Talia was mentioned in the first 2 episodes. I will say that. So I'm gonna this is the Wolf House book stuff. This is where they had the epic snow battle. This is where Hera was imprisoned. But this is like the front entrance. I'm gonna go around and show you exactly where she was in the reflection pool. This is a really tragic story, IRL, by the way. Jack built this as his dream home. And right before they were going to move in, they left a couple of oily rags inside that caught fire, burned the entire place down. Like, they were packing to move in here when the fire showed up in the night, and they realized they would not be moving in. And he was already ill, and the tragedy of this, losing his dream home that he'd spent so much money and so long to create, just kind of broke him, and he never rebuilt it and kind of faded, which is just, yeah, we lost a really good author there. This is the front entrance, or would have been. So your carriage would have come up, or your horse. You'd go in there. It's several stories. There was going to be a tower room for him to do his writing in, which would have been so awesome. Like a tower writing room. And then this is the view. You can hear the creek down there, or at least I can. Okay, I'm gonna go upstairs. So you can imagine in that book, that I won't give too many details hopefully about, they would come up here, and the dove and the forge Aphrodite and Hephaestus kids had to come right up here. This is where Hera was. So in these woods, you would have had the epic battle going on. And the group in here with Piper and stuff would have been like, okay, so how do we do this? Because there are no instructions on how to free her. And I really wonder, I'm sure they'll just build a set, but if we ever get a season down the line where they do this scene, I don't think they could get permission to film here, but maybe they could film some of it here. I mean, if they're really, really careful, I don't know. I will say, though, that I will probably be watching that scene going, that doesn't look accurate, if they build a set and it does not look like this. All right, back to the set design. The dining pavilion looked so good in the new series. I had to pause it. I want to just go there. It was beautiful. The columns, everything. Open air, they got it right. Go down the other side. If you have a favorite Percy Jackson character that is in the first 2 episodes, let me know what you thought of them. Sometimes there's a little bit of a, not a learning curve, but a get used to it, get acclimatized curve when you've imagined them in your head for so long, and then there's an actor and you're like, wait, what? That's not what I imagined in my head. Like Annabeth, she is just so on point for her character's demeanor and poise and intelligence and sass so far that I just immediately accepted her. Oh, Nottingham. You're in Nottingham. That's very cool. Have you seen Robin Hood? Here's another entrance to the Wolf House. So here's another way it's so photogenic. I really, really hope that there's enough support for the series to keep it going, because right now the reviews are really mixed, and I can see why. As I said, it's not like absolutely ideal, but I think it's really fun and overall well done, and the quibbles are very minor. So fingers crossed that we get to this point in the series. By the way, what we're looking at now would have been like the dining hall and the game room. Yeah, there was an entire room just for playing games. That would have been so cool. We're back to where probably the battle was going on. So you can imagine, in these woods, lots of arrows flying around, snowballs, ice. It's a great battleground, in my opinion. I can see why it was chosen as a location for the book. I don't know if Rick ever actually came here. I assume he did to do research. But he did say it was in the wrong location. So here's a funny story. I'm from around here. I come here often. I have an annual pass. And I was reading the book, And it kept talking about the Wolf House in Sonoma. I never made the connection until they arrived, because this is Glen Ellen. It's not Sonoma. And so I was like, oh, the Wolf House in Sonoma. Where is that in Sonoma? I don't know of any location like that. He must have made it up for the book. And then they started describing it, and then they mentioned Jack London. I'm like, hey, wait a minute. Are they talking about the Wolf House in Glen Ellen? Yeah. Oopsies. So that's a good example of when you're an author and you're describing a location that's not really where you live, ask the locals. Make sure you get the right town. Oh, boy. I'm sure there are internet articles that get the location wrong too. It's near Sonoma. Like, you can drive to Sonoma from here. My point is, Rick sometimes gets things wrong too. Like Blackjack. We all know. TV show is not perfect too. That's a show, even if it's not word for word. And so that's my review so far. I may have a different opinion. I'll post a really formal video of that review. But I happened to be here at the park for a bit. And just be aware, it's not going to be an exact adaptation. However, they get the characters right, and ultimately, that's what matters. So thank you for coming along with me. And I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream right here at the Wolf House. And I'll make sure I put a little, there's a few spoilers in here, warning when I post this on YouTube.